Master. Shukadev was absorbed in Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Jada Samadhi. Since Shuka was to recite the Bhagavata to King Parikshit, the Lord sent the sage Narada to him. Narad saw him, seated like an inert thing, absolutely unconscious of the world around him. Thereupon, Narad sang 4 couplets on the beauty of Hori, to the accompaniment of Veena. While the first couplet was being sung, the hair on Shuka's body stood on end. Next, he shed tears, for he saw the form of God, the embodiment of spirit, within himself, in his heart. Thus, Shukadev saw the form of God even after Jada Samadhi. He was an Ishvara Koti. Hanuman, after having the vision of God, both with form and without, remained firmly devoted to the form of Rama, the embodiment of consciousness and bliss. Prahlad sometimes realized, I am he. Sometimes he felt that he was the servant of God. How can such a person live without love of God? That is why he must accept the relationship of master and servant, feeling that God is the master and himself the servant. This enables him to enjoy the bliss of Hori. In this attitude, he feels that God is the bliss and he himself is the enjoyer. The ego of devotion, the ego of knowledge, and the ego of child do not harm the devotee. Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge. The ego of a child is not attached to anything. The child is beyond the 3 gunas. He is not under the control of any of them. One moment, you see him angry. The next moment, it is all over. One moment, you see him building his playhouse. The next moment, he forgets all about it. Now you see him love his playmates. But if they are out of his sight a few days, he forgets all about them. A child is not under the control of any of the gunas, sattva, rajas, or tamas. The bhakta feels, O God, Thou art the Lord and I am Thy devotee. This I is the ego of bhakti. Why does such a lover of God retain the ego of devotion? There is a reason. The ego cannot be got rid of. So let the rascal remain as the servant of God, the devotee of God. You may reason 1,000 times, but you cannot get rid of the ego. The ego is like a pitcher, and Brahman like the ocean. An infinite expanse of water on all sides. The pitcher is set in this ocean. The water is both inside and out. The water is everywhere. Yet the pitcher remains. Now this pitcher is the ego of the devotee. As long as the ego remains, you and I remain. And there also remains the feeling, O God, Thou art the Lord and I am Thy devotee. Thou art the Master and I am Thy servant. You may reason 1,000,000 times, but you cannot get rid of it. But it is different if there is no pitcher.